All
There
right.
you are.
How are you?
Good. Can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you perfectly fine. How are you?
Awesome. This is good. This is new learning for me. And I made my 15-year-old get over here so we could do this correctly.
Oh, that's awesome. So we've got a couple guests in here today then, and hopefully we get a guest appearance from Caden as well, the dog. Uh,
Yeah, he's good at self-care. Let's just say that.
yeah, looks like you've got a good online learning setup there. Um,
Yeah, I do a lot of
Definitely.
online learning even before all this crazy world that we're in right now. And I had a nice background, and then I went to just a closet's fine in the background. And then no, I need to get back my mindset here.
Yeah, for sure. I know some of the programs too, like we've been using Microsoft Teams, and you can put any background you want in there.
Yes,
So I can be on the beach whenever I really feel like it. But
it's
uh,
perfect. There's days you need that.
yeah, absolutely. So first of all, for the few people that don't know you, uh, let's kind of go through. Before you were an education consultant, you were a teacher and a principal, I believe,
Yep, yep.
for quite a
So
while.
yeah, it's been a long time. I'm old, everybody out there, but that's okay. So I taught at a middle school for 10 years.
Hmm.
And then after that, I went to be a principal for 11, then a director of teaching in a county for 4 years. And then now I do the consulting piece and trainings for the most part. But I started as a teacher, and it was a principal that encouraged me. My principal, he ran his own conference, and he's like, Dorothy, I want you to present. And, I was like, oh, okay. So I felt comfortable with math because that's what I taught. And then when I started to present more, he had connections out with like the National Middle School, and then I started going to Colorado. And another person out there, the director of those conferences, said, hey, you need to do all curriculum areas. And I remember, I'm scared, I can't do all areas. And then I did, and then that turned into a book years ago. But my point with that whole thing is it's a mentor that pushed me to do that, that had more faith than I did in myself at the time, and pushed me to that, next level, which I thought was, I try to do that, and I try to give back to people like that.
Yeah, and that's something, I mean, I personally noticed with you. I know you're always willing to mentor, you're always willing to help out.
Yeah.
So that really comes from that background of people help elevating you, right? And
It does, for sure. And there was a principal I partnered with too. His name was Randy Thompson. He's passed. But we started to run conferences together. And then, so instead of speaking all the time, because I was asked to speak, throughout the country and internationally, and that's when I was young, long time ago before social media. And then I wanted to have a family. And, that travel can be tough sometimes. So I backed away, settled into the role of, that K-12 educator. I'm going to do that, try to have kids. And then I thought, I can't get away from this. I love this professional development. I love running it. I love speaking. So then I thought, I'm gonna run it. I'm gonna do like the conference director out in Colorado, Walt Grieving, with the nuts and bolts symposiums. I'm gonna do that because he gave a lot of people starts like Rick Wormley, Jack Burkmeyer. I
Mhm.
mean, he propelled all of us. That's where we all met out there in that cadre group years ago. And I thought, I want to do that. So then I started partnering with a principal friend, and we ran a conference. And then I ended up partnering with a university, and I still run those conferences. And luckily, I changed with the times about 3 years ago and offered online PD, because I
Yeah.
can't imagine in this chaos right now if I didn't have that online PD to support teachers. And it was stressful because when this all happened and schools were shut down a few weeks, my request for online PD went through the roof. I mean, I was up all weekend trying to get them what they needed. They want to get their certification, the classes. Now I feel like I have a handle on it, but at first that surge was like, oh my gosh.
Oh,
So
and you're learning a whole new scale of
mhm,
technology. There's a huge learning curve that goes with that.
there
So,
is. There is.
yeah, so one thing that I'm really curious about, and I think a lot of people that follow us and people that think about mindset a lot, there are a lot of people out there that want to make some kind of jump. And it
Yep.
might not necessarily be from teacher to principal or from principal to consultant,
Yep.
but in their life that they're trying to reach another level and they're scared, and there's a lot that's kind of pulling them back. What would you say to them as far as how you were able to overcome some of those feelings and get to that next step?
Yep. You want to be prepared, and you want to have that confidence when you go speak and do those things. You have to have a good presentation. Sorry, I keep moving this. I did it with my phone. I should have
Oh,
done it with my computer. But because I'm not in shape to hold that up. But have that confidence and be prepared, because you know, I've worked with a lot of people, and sometimes they just go and they talk off of notes or whatever. You know, that's not going to get you back to somewhere or called back. You have to have a presentation and something that's going to solve their problem and help them. So what can you give these people that can help them? And you want to have a good item or a good offering to give them. And that helps you get that confidence, because when you get called back after you do maybe a free session at a conference and they want you to come back, that is like, oh my gosh, then the next thing, then you're charging. And then that's a whole nother piece to decide. But I say connect with people. Like, I have people that connect with me all the time, and I like to give to them. So Connie Hamilton is a friend of mine in Michigan, and we were sitting down, and I remembered a Big B talking her through, you need a website, because she was at that phase. I want to go to another level. What do I do? Because she's a part-time curriculum director, part-time principal at the time. Well, look at her. She's propelled into all these followers, has books, all that. I mean, it's just amazing. So brainstorming with a friend. I remember brainstorming with LaVonna Roth, brainstorming words for her like shine, ignite, elevate, and then look what she did. And Trevor Muir, he's a consultant. He's a teacher that recently took the jump. But what he did, he made videos of himself. So a lot of people, if you look at those videos with Trevor Muir, and he just published a book with, you know, on it with Dave Burgess Consulting. So you want to get out there, but I feel like brainstorming with people, because I brainstormed with all those people. I mean, just talking through and getting your mindset in that space to go help. So find a friend that can do that with you and push you. You know, I pushed them a little bit.
Yeah, it doesn't help to have a friend to bounce ideas off if they're not going to push you, right? You know, you
That's
need to be
right.
motivated and engaged to, you know, help you not just say, oh, this might be a good idea, but let's actually follow through. Let's make it happen.
That's right. And sometimes you have that in front of you and you don't even see it. Like, I remember looking at Connie Hamilton and Anna saying, look at how many Twitter followers, look at how many this you have. And she's like, well, yeah, but, you know, to her, but okay, I'm just sharing. And I'm like, this is incredible. Yeah. You know, so sometimes you don't even see what's right in front of you.
Yeah, absolutely. And the potential is always there. And it's just a matter of willing to jump out and, you know, live it out.
That's right. So and that mindset too, it's that we talk a lot about healthy mindset, which is good in this day and age, because yesterday I needed to get out of this house. I was going out of my mind. So taking my dad food was a good thing, but it was just time to get out. We never talk about financial mindset. So you have to think about that too, because, oh yeah, I want to do this. And people take the jump and they give up a job, and then boom, COVID-19 hits and they're not getting their consulting jobs that they were thinking of. So you have to really be strategic on when you're going. Do you have a plan with your current job? Are you going to get a pension? Do you have any passive income? All those extra things you have to think about, because I tell you what, that'll affect your mindset. If all of a sudden you're not getting your income and you don't have health care and all that, and something happens, you know, significant like this, you really need to be prepared for it.
Yeah, so it's a lot about being disciplined, being very wise and picking your spot. But once you've picked your spot, you have to go, right?
That's right. That's right. Yeah. And write it down too, Kevin. Like, you know, a lot of people journal, which is a good thing, because journaling is good for that mindset. But it's also good for your goals, you know, because you can write down your goals and asking yourself what you need. What am I looking forward to? What lessons did I learn? All those things. So sometimes when you write those pieces down, it helps you a little bit more.
Yeah, that's something we emphasize a lot too. Just, you know, there are a lot of good ideas you might have, but you're not going to follow through on them if they're not written down, they're not visible. And the more you see what you really want to do and what your priorities are, the easier it is to follow along that line and actually live it out.
That's right.
They have great priorities, and then it just kind of goes to the side, and you know, they kind of get that, oh, that's what I'm really building towards, because they're not seeing it every day and they're not really committed to it in writing. So
that's right. That's right. And there's opportunities out there all the time that we miss. Like, you know, I know that LaVonna on her site, and you're having her, I think, tomorrow, she has some people that work for her. I've hired teachers to do online grad courses. I hired people to present at my conferences. So even though you're thinking, some people out there, well, I don't want that full-time gig, but I want to, you know, do some presentations or something. Look to your, you know, local agencies and associations. Start presenting that way. Call the presenters. And that's kind of how you can get a feel of if you're interested in doing those pieces or not. Just sharing what you have. It might be content on curriculum. It might be the self-care. Right now, this self-care, I had a nonprofit contact me about virtual PD to keep them busy, you know, during this time of the shutdown, to make sure that they had all their goals met. But we tied in that, you know, checking in, that self-care, what's going on with them. One of them, her dog had, I mean, she couldn't focus. Her dog just died, among other things. So there's a lot going on in people's lives. So people need time to reflect. They need time to journal. It might be lighting a candle for you. It might be running. I know you get out there and exercise. You just have to do a variety of things.
Oh, absolutely. So to shift gears for a second, one thing that I was really curious about with you, and this is something I absolutely love every time I see you running any kind of professional development. Sometimes you share some videos, sometimes you show some pictures. And one thing I notice is every time you're in front of other teachers and you're leading them through any kind of PD, everyone's smiling, right? And it's one of those taglines you have, smile, be kind. I see that.
Mm-hmm.
So tell me a little bit about what's the role of people just being loose and happy in terms of their.
Yeah. What does it say? We can't learn unless, we're laughing, and our brain and all those pieces, and kindergartners, they're so open to that and laugh and enjoy it. I don't know. I've always wanted to make people laugh. Sometimes I wish I'd have been a comedian, because to me, that's what gets them to open up. Even when I go into some schools and people, they don't want that PD and they don't want that consultant there. Starting out with humor, I just it seems to turn them right back around. Everybody likes a good laugh. I feel like it opens the mind and they're engaged more. And plus, I tune out if somebody's standing up there lecturing. I need to laugh and enjoy life and have fun. So I always try to get people to laugh, whether it's my son's 15-year-olds or when I was teaching. I mean, I'd just do a cartwheel out of the middle of nowhere. And, you don't realize the impact you have. And now I see those kids that are like 34 and 32 and they're older, from all ages. And they'll say, oh, remember when you did this or that? And sometimes they do, and sometimes they don't. But like I said, I was teaching math. That was tough for some kids. So having some humor in there, whether it was a brain teaser or a laugh, would bring them in. And the same thing with that professional development, because sometimes people, when you go into the schools, they don't want to be there. A lot of times conferences are easy to present it, right? Those people want to be there. But when you're going, the joys of technology, right?
Yeah, always. And we have to do everything online. That's when online learning gets a little dicey, right?
It does, but it's okay, and you roll with it. So we just want to tell people, keep at it, right? No matter what, keep at it.
Yeah, it's that persistence that pays off. And I think there's going to be a lot of teachers and students alike who were going through this online shift. And, this was not a shift by choice. It was a shift by force, right? So there are going to be a lot of bumps in the roads and a lot of snags. And I think one of the most important things when we talk about mindset is to just not be frustrated by it, because we are going to run into those technical difficulties, and how you respond to that is really going to change not just your reaction, but your feelings about the whole process. And,
it's so true. You're right, Kevin. And there's some days that'll be tough for people, and there's some days, so you got to be patient. Definitely be patient with them.
That's an absolute key. And I know, a lot of the teachers that I've spoken to, they're feeling a little burnt out. Like, I had my whole year planned and now I have to change everything. And
that's right.
So it's definitely understandable. It's going to be a frustrating time. But again, we want to be leaders for our students, right? And we want to show them that persistence does pay off and that we can get something valuable out of this time. Even if it's not the same thing or what we had planned, we still bring some kind of value. And I think that's so important for teachers just to remember that, it's not going to look the way you want it to look, but we can still accomplish great things right now.
That's right. And think back to your first year of teaching, everybody. That you thought you had everything going, and then you realize the second year, oh man, I could have learned a little bit more. That's what we're doing right now in this remote learning. And my brother's a second grade teacher, and he's like, some of my parents are struggling. They're not even on getting on the device and stuff. So we have to step back and breathe right now. Parents are worried about feeding their kids, and then, districts are deploying devices, getting online PD. There's so many things that are going on. Everything's not going to be perfect at first, just like it's never perfect in our little world of when we're teaching or running a PD. Shifts happen, right? Technology happens. You just have to be patient. And you have to know too, I mean, I've served in all levels of leadership and everything, and I work with superintendents too and leadership coaching. You can't please everybody all the time, but do what's best for those kids. And that's just, you have to stay the course on it. You have to. And each day, it'll be a different day, so it's okay.
Absolutely. That's going to help a lot of people who are going through it right now and, saying, oh man, this is tough. the more we can make out of this moment and, you know, listening about how to just, you know, continue making the most out of everything that we're doing here.
Yes, I say focus on what works for you, and it's not the same. Some people like to light a candle and they like to write. Some people like to read. I have to walk every day. If I don't walk, my mind's not going to be in a good spot. I used to run out and get a Starbucks. I can't do that right now. So find what works for you, and that's the best thing, and then go forward. And no, every day's not going to be perfect. Just
Mhm.
do the best that you can do because there's brighter days ahead. You know,
Yeah,
have your goals still, might be put on hold for a little bit, but you can do this because we're here to support you. And Kevin and I are just, you know, you can send us a Twitter message, you can connect on Instagram, anything. We're here to support you.
absolutely.
Awesome. Thank you, Kevin.